as they go. And if I don't see someone, please just make it known to me. Once I start presenting, I won't necessarily see all hands. So just if you could, speak up, I don't mind getting interrupted. My name is, for those who've just arrived, my name is Rafia Dagama. I am the one of the lecturers in this subject. The other one is Dr. Beauty Bombay, and the third lecturer is Professor Vinette Jacobs. She is on research and development leave until I think the 1st of May, after which she will join us. She's very much still involved in the background. She's very, she takes insurance quite seriously. And we really do approach her quite a bit for just, advice and so forth. This is, of course, insurance law, LML 4805. It is a final year subject, which I think it's quite important just for me to, at the onset, before we talk to the subject itself, is just to let you know that as final year students, our expectations of you are perhaps a tiny bit higher than we would have if you were in one of the earlier modules in second year and first year or even third year. We expect that you have an understanding of time, a very good understanding of time management, that you do understand that no matter how, that no matter what happens, that the assignments are a good thing to write and submit to get feedback on. So the mark itself is important, but also that, doing the assignment itself is a great way of checking how far you understand the subject, the kind of questions that would follow in the exams, and how you approach them. It is a final year subject, so you have a number of cases to study, so please study them. And of course, when we say study, I do not mean read, study them. They are articles, and those articles are linked to the textbook or the cases themselves. So these are not just articles that are in the vacuum. These are quite important. I will also just bring to your attention that there have been legislative changes. So in addition to the textbook, we do have, newer legislations that will be referenced, and the 102 should be up quite soon, so that you have a good idea of where that is going. There is a study guide. Please use it as a guidance on how you study. Use it as a guide. That means use it as a way to help you navigate the material that is prescribed. Yes? So those are all things. Firstly, of course, it's part of your 4-year LB degree. It's a final year elective. There are 2 assignments. Yes? I would suggest, and I think I'm quite sure that my colleagues will back me up, do them. I know the weight is 20% of your mark, so 80% of your mark comes from the exam. I would very seriously suggest you do them. I have set them up. They will be up quite soon. They are meant to get you ready for your exam. So the questions will be discussion questions on either cases or problem type questions. We will ask you problem type questions. You are final year students. You will not have a client come to you and say to you guys and say, oh, I would just like to understand what a short-term insurance contract is. You won't have those clients. You will have a client who will come to you and say, I have a car and I drove it and the electricity was out and load shedding was happening and the other person also crossed the intersection and he had an accident. You will get a problem to resolve. Yes. And that is why we bring these to you. And of course, all of them are linked to the cases that you're prescribed, so that you can really look at the reasoning of the courts. And, it's a very specific concept that still to this day can be interesting and wonderful, because we, as lawyers, we like gray areas. We like to operate. We love gray areas because that's where our money comes from. So keep that in mind. You will have under a folder in your on the My Module site. It is called the official study materials. You'll find the 101, 102 study guide, and of course there is a prescribed book. There are prescribed sources. How do you get to these prescribed sources? You get them from eReserves. Where is eReserves? It's at the library. And I did this last year. I'm going to try and do this again. Do let me know if you don't see things, but I'm going to just do this. I'm going to go to library. There we go, library. I'm going to sign in, which is always a good idea. I just want to show you because I know this is very paternalistic and this is very condescending, but I do understand that some students, somebody somewhere may not necessarily know where the library is. Okay, so you go to my UNISA. Apologies, I'm going to the wrong place. I'm waiting for it. Wait for it. Log in. You go to the library, and on that site, you will find, why is it not going there? I cannot believe it. Ah, here, they've changed the way it looks. Find eReserves. Yes, click on that. You will write in your module code without any spaces. And if you go to the 2023 site, you will find them. Okay. And I'm going to now go back to the other things that I was sharing. Let's do this. Let's not show you my emails. Here we are. So there is a prescribed book. I know that there is another one being worked on, and there was some confusion around when that will be available. But for the moment, please utilize the prescribed book. The new one has not yet come out. So what are the different platforms that we use for teaching? We use My UNISA, My Modules. I know you know how to get there. You will see there's a welcome note. There are discussions. We do every now and then put on announcements. We will have live classes, and I'm saying that out loud so I can keep to it and Dr. Vambe can keep to it. We will have live classes like this one for assignment 1 and assignment 2, and we would have some form of feedback for that, and then we will definitely have an exam preparation class. All the learning units have a certain number of narrated PowerPoints that we have recorded that help you guide you through the work and sort of brings in certain emphasis and so forth. Those will be put up. So keep that in mind that we will be making those available. Those will be announced. We'll put them up and I'll say, here we go. What we will post is the link to them. And I have uploaded, I upload them onto the YouTube site, which I've been told is the most stable place to put them, as well as it does use the least amount of data. Yes, sorry. I see there's somebody's Caitlin, did you speak? Oh, okay. So we will, you'll just keep, you have to check back in with the My Module site for various pieces of information. So please do that. And just to make sure when you email us, please use your UNISA email addresses. We are not allowed to reply or address issues that are sent through a Gmail, whatever account you have. It has to be the official UNISA email. we are not allowed to answer you. Okay. So assignments and exams. Assignments, you submit them on the My Module site. You have to make sure that they have been submitted and are not in a draft form. So please make sure you send the finalized, you upload the finalized one. You can only also upload PDFs, preferably typed, but if you write it down, make sure your handwriting is legible, and save it as a PDF before you upload it. Okay. When it comes to your assignments, we would require there's some referencing that you will do. So look at the Oscola, the University, the College of Law referencing things. You have to have a bibliography. You will have all of those things are necessary. Please. The exam, of course, happens on the My Exam site. The exam is a 4-hour exam. We've gone back to a timed exam so that it then takes away that pressure of referencing and so forth. Okay. And if something dramatically important happens, it's a new case that changes the face of insurance law, we will add that and we will make an announcement. And so something happens, it will come. Yeah. Just alerting you to that. It doesn't happen with insurance law as much as it may happen with some other subject. But if it happens, please make sure you always go back to the My Module site and engage. So there are 2 assignments, okay? So the examination, it's not necessarily a take-home exam. It's a 4-hour exam. It's not like you go to a venue. So we can't call it a venue-based exam, but it is 4 hours. The 2 assignments, of course, count 20%. The take-home exam is 4 hours. And with the circumstances as they are, as Dr. Bombay is encountering now, load shedding is something that the university expects you to deal with and make sure that you are able to do what you need to do to make sure you write the exam. Unless there's something dramatic, if they do publish the schedules, and you will be expected to find a place where you can actually do it. Keeping in mind that the Invigilator app does pick up any background noise. So keep that in mind too. I don't want you to get into trouble for being in a noisy environment because you're in a coffee shop or something like that. So all of those things you'll have to figure out. And apologies is because we can't control events either. So it's as simple as that. We cannot move exams to deal with load shedding. It is really very much part of our lives. The assignment questions will be uploaded today. I've said they're already uploaded, but I'm just waiting for some feedback from Professor Jacobs, just to make sure everything is exactly as it should be. You will see your first assignment is due on the 31st of March and the second one on the 14th of April. Keeping in mind that the university has in the past given certain extensions. If the university does so, we don't give extensions. If the university as a whole does it, it might impact on these dates. Okay, so keep that in mind. So let's look at the module. So what is insurance law? What is it that we want you to go away with once you've done insurance law? We want you to understand the role of insurance law in South Africa and everyday life. And I know you have had experience with insurance. I think anyone that is an adult in South Africa has had some form of, if you've not heard the many ads that they keep having, you've listened to those, you have insurance. We've got so many different forms. We've got medical, we've got, short term in terms of a car, you've got life insurance. There have been cases in the media. Last year, there was a criminal case that usually we're not familiar with, but somebody who taken out insurance on family members and they're thereafter disposed of them. So that doesn't happen often, but it is part of our everyday life. And we want you to understand not just the sort of popular view of insurance, but really what it actually is. So understand, how it's a specific contract, how it plays out, what happens to the parties and all of that. And remember, it is not a new thing. Insurance existed in Roman times. So you have to understand there's a history to it. A lot of the principles and things, you might find Latin words there. You'll find all of these things. There's a lot of theoretical framework and discussion that has happened. There've been a lot of interesting issues because, of course, we have this wonderful law that is part Roman Dutch law, part English law, and we sort of, it merged together, and then we started taking bits and pieces off. So keep that in mind. So that is all there. And what we want you to understand is understand all the different legal concepts that apply and all the problematic issues that exist, and be able then to apply them to practical, problem type questions that we do. So we can say when you leave, you can go out and solve somebody's problem. Okay, which you will do. You're finally a student. Soon enough, you'll be out there making UNISA proud. Yeah. Let's move on. Thing always takes a little bit of time. So the module consists of 15 learning units. Yeah. Just to name a few, we talk about the legislative framework, parties to the contract, the content of contracts, yes, enforcement, termination, interpretation. And before I even get to that, so it's everything that surrounds it. What are the exceptions that will apply? So some of them just flow from contract, some flow from delict. So there's a little bit of everything in there. It's quite interesting. I have to emphasize this so much. And it's not just with insurance law students, but with every single student that is out there, UNISA or anywhere else, including myself. I get my own stuff checked on Turnitin sometimes because I'm not always sure that I've made sure that I've referenced everything. Plagiarism is it's dishonest conduct. It's as simple as that. And as lawyers, we are held to an ethical, a higher degree of ethical behavior. So keep that in mind. Because it is dishonesty, it will really impact your career. I would like you to stay away from it as much as possible. So how can I help you do that? Firstly, I will say this. When we read your assignments, when we look at your exam answers, what we are trying to hear is your voice. Okay, you may reference other things, you may reference other people, but we want to hear your voice. Okay. So it's to take somebody else's words, thoughts, and then say they are your own. So that's, it's as simple as cutting and pasting without acknowledging sources, or not including or using incorrect references, paraphrasing. So, when somebody does that control find and control replace, don't do that. Firstly, a lot of the concepts are very specific legal words, and that's not going to work. That's not going to help you. And it gets picked out so quickly. And I will say this, between myself, Dr. Vambe, and Professor Jacobs, we have a good understanding of the material. And if plagiarism has occurred, believe me, we see it almost immediately. Okay, and that goes for any of the professors and lecturers at the university. Please don't take that chance. And I do believe that all exams at a certain level will automatically be going through Turnitin. So just please be careful. So what do? We want to assess your level of understanding. Do not cut and paste, even from the study guide. I want to make sure that so read something understand it, and then try and put it in your own words. Write down your understanding. That is what we want to know. Okay. So tentative dates, I'm not going to give you the exact dates because, again, we are a little bit mindful of the fact that there might be extension given, because if there are extension given for registration, there might be extension given for assignments, so it has a knock-on effect. So we don't want to have very specific time for these, but we will communicate with you. Yes? We will communicate also when through the site. We will usually, if I upload any learning units, I will let you know through an announcement. But we will definitely, as I said, have classes for assignment 1, assignment 2. So I'll ideally, I would like to have a class before assignment 1, which has straightforward discussion questions in it. Yes. So that class would be very much about, okay, you've dealt with this material. This is the case, you've looked at it, and how do you perhaps look at any case? How do you read a case? When we do that for assignment 2, there will be a feedback on assignment 1, and where, let's say, majority of the students misread or misunderstood something, I will talk to that and prepare you for answering problem type questions. And when we have the class on exam prep, I'll do a little bit of a feedback on assignment 2, and just to make sure that, you know, we all know where we are. Our expectations are the same. You understand our expectations, and I understand the problems you're facing. Okay, good. And I'm going to stop there, but Dr. Vambe, would you like to add something to this? And it is fairly early. The reason it is fairly early is that I wanted to leave space for questions and for questions from you guys, because I do speak quite fast, and you please do stop me when I'm talking too fast, and to allow Dr. Vambe as well to add anything that you wanted to add in.
Thank you, Ms. Rafia. I enjoyed your presentation and I understood it well. At this point, I don't have any questions. I would request the students, if they have any questions, yes, on the introduction, they can ask.
You know what I'm going to do, if I may? I'm going to look at the list of attendees, and I'm just going to go through the list. Christian, do you have any questions?
Can we stop the recording? Sorry, Ms. Rafia?
No. I think we should. I'm just going to. No, we're not going to stop the recording in case any of the questions are actually quite important for other students.
Okay, thank you.
Christian, do you have any questions? See, you've replied. Is that you? You said no. Danielle? Danielle, do you have any questions? If not, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to move on to Diani. Okay. Jada? Is it Jada? Sorry, if I say it wrong, just do correct me as well. Okay. Caitlin? Okay. Kelly? I like this. Everyone's just like, no, we don't have any questions. Okay, great. Brilliant. Kelly, okay, I've Mpo, Mutemi. Mpo, go ahead, please. I'm always looking for questions. Can you unmute yourself, or should I try and do that? No. Go ahead, Mpo.
I don't know. No, it was a mistake, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Mutemi then? Phyllis, yes?
No questions. Thank you.
Okay. Phyllis Sunday?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi. I have one question.
please.
I think you did mention a bit about the textbooks, that there will be a new version of the textbook. I don't know if maybe I read it incorrectly, but there's a 2013 version of the textbook, which is it Reineck? And then there's also principles of South African law, and
Yes.
insurance law. So it seems like there's two textbooks, and the second one is the one where you'd be able to announce to us in terms of where we can get it.
Yeah.
Can you just please
So
confirm that part?
sure. The prescribed book is Reinecker. The 2013 book. You should get that. The new textbook. We are engaging with the publisher throughout, and we keep getting deadlines, and then they send us new deadlines of when it will be available. And as far as we know, at this point, is not going to be available this term. So unfortunately, the book that you will, I think you should, and it is a good book. It just doesn't deal with the new legislations. Um, and those are not major things. It's still very important for you to understand the Twin Peaks, which is why, of course, we have articles prescribed to you to deal with those. So keep that in mind. Have you been given to understand that it won't be available this term? So keep hoping, but it's still. We were told this definitely at the start of the year, and now we are told middle of the year, and we are still waiting. And it's not written by any of the people involved in teaching you, so there's very little control over the circumstances.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So we have one textbooks and then articles as well as cases.
And cases, yes.
All right, no problem. Just thank you for that.
And just the one or two as well. It should be uploaded quite soon, if it's not already done. I will check again. Pomole, Pomolo, sorry. Apologies for that. No question. Reabetswe? And Wendy? Wendy Fenny. I do see there's another Wendy as well. Magano, Sarah, and then Wendy Veronica. Any questions from any of you guys? Okay, great. I would suggest very strongly from this point onwards that you go engage with all of the materials given to you. Please read the cases, read the articles, and definitely the book as well. When will the assignment be released? It should be at the end of this week at the latest. I'm just waiting for feedback. I want to make sure that sometimes when I know with me, it happens more often. Dr. Bombay and Professor Jacobs both have doctorals, so it happens far less to them. But sometimes I can make a typo and I will not see it. So I have to have other people read my things just to be 100% sure, because I don't want to confuse the students. So I'm just waiting on some feedback. It should be up by the end of the week. Both of them will be up, actually, so you can get an idea of what the expectations are. Okay, great. I would, again, as I was saying, please engage with the material, read it, study it. Just as an aside, reading law is just reading it. Studying it means for cases, read, and read another 2 times, summarize. For articles, read another 2 times, write down the most important points that the author is making. I would suggest using the study guide as a guideline for your textbooks, especially see where the focus is and read those, please. Okay, thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to further engagements. Thank you very much. I'm going to stop the recording now.
Thank you, Ms. Rafia. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.